Hey, hello world. A lot of these portable dual fuel generators listed online that you might need to buy or currently are using or that you may have bought or somebody bought for you to help you during the times of power outages, which happens to be all over Southern California right now. So if you happen to find one of these guys, their spec sheets aren't going to tell you how long you can expect to run your generator for because they always omit the BTU load on the propane side of it. So I just want to shoot this quick video to help you out, maybe shed some light on how to calculate runtime on these generators. So for example, this one tells you that they're basing their numbers off of this lingo right here, which is it'll look something like this, and you'll find it normally somewhere in the description page like this. On this one, this Champion generator, they say using gasoline, it'll use this much. It'll run for 14 hours at 50% on a 4.7 fuel tank. Or for instance in propane, which is this video is about, it'll run 10.5 hours at 50% load when using a 20-pound propane tank. Okay, let's break that down. A 20-pound propane tank has about 402,600 BTUs. So where's the math on that? 1 gallon of propane is roughly around 91,500 BTUs. Your 20-pound tank, if you get it refilled at a store, is probably going to get filled to about 4 to 4.4 gallons of fuel, depending on the temperature you got it at. If you have an exchange cylinder, you might only have 20 pounds. You might only have 15 pounds. So it'll be like a gallon less, maybe, if you got an exchange tank, because they always have less fuel in the exchange tanks. Alright, back to the math. So this spec sheet says when the generator is running at 25%, you get 14.6 hours of runtime on a 20-pound cylinder. So if you go down to do the math, 4.4 gallons of propane, multiply it by the BTUs of a gallon of propane, it's going to give you this 402,600 BTUs. So the engine runs for 14.6 hours at 25% on 402,000 BTUs. So you just divide 402,600 BTUs divided by 14 hours, and your consumption rate is 27,500 BTUs per hour at 25%. So what is that at 100%? Well, we just multiply it by 4. So we get 110,304 BTUs an hour if you're fully using that generator. Okay, another example. This is a different generator I looked at. I went through the spec sheets for you. This is this Champion generator. And again, I just took their generic lingo off their website. And here we go. Same thing, 20-pound propane tank. We multiply that by 91,500. That's going to give you 402,000 BTUs again. At 50% load, it uses 4.4 gallons in 10 hours. So we just take the entire tank, we drain the whole tank out in 10.5 hours. And that gave me 38,342 BTUs. So I multiply that by 2, that would be 100% load, and that would be 76,685 BTUs an hour if you run it at 100%. And then I multiply that number by 0.25 to get about 20,000 BTUs an hour at 25%. So there's one last thing. If you're running on a 20-pound cylinder, there's something called vaporization rate. So I already I plugged this into a little calculator that I have. The tank is about 12 inches in diameter, and it's about 13.9 inches long. And I have this temperature value, which I set for 3.5, which is 50 degrees. So if it's 50 degrees out and you run this little generator, where are you going to start running into problems at 100% load? You're probably going to start running into problems right around 80% of the container being filled. It's just that one little tank can't run 76,000 BTUs. So what's up with that? So you probably need a bigger propane tank if you want to run these generators to zero at 50%, even at 50% on this one, right? So at 50% at 38,000 BTUs at 50 degrees outside, you're starting to ice up at 40%. So these little 20-pounders are ideally not the best tank size to run these generators on. If you had a manifold where you put two together, it doubles their vaporization rates. So if you had two tanks and they were manifolded together and then you ran that into your generator, you would extend your life by 2, but also you'd be able to run the generator at 100%. Otherwise the tank's going to ice up, and that's the end of that. Okay, well, if you have any questions, comment on the video and I'll try to answer them if I can. Thank you.